Love and health form the foundation and pillars that support all that you do to create fulfillment and success in every aspect of your life. Love within us guides our paths while our health enables us to drive forward. The two are inseparable and vital for growth and reaching your fullest potential. Welcome to Love and Health in America with Dr. Doohi Lee, Mary McMahon, and Jens Johnson. Dr. Lee is an international speaker, author, inventor of the Diamond Matrix, and medical director of Advanced Surgical Arts. Mary is a certified financial planner committed to maximizing your financial success. And Jens Johnson, the Mindset Master, is a best-selling author, speaker, mastermind facilitator, and success mindset coach. They are committed to help you succeed by optimizing your health, finances, and relationships. Please join them and explore all the facets of love and health to achieve and live your abundant life. Here are your hosts, Dr. Doohi Lee, Mary McMahon, and Jens Johnson.
Yes.
5, 4.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Love and Health in America. Now, you really want me to get out of the way today because we've got a fantastic topic planned. We've got Dr. Doohi Lee here with us. We've got Mary McMahon, and the topic that we're going to be covering today is something that, listen, it's about money, and everybody wants to talk about money. Really, no, they don't. They want to pretend to talk about money. But today we really are going to talk about money, and this is Mary McMahon's specialty. So we are going to turn it over to you to talk about the foundation for financial health and money. Mary, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Jens, and hello to the audience out there. We love having you join us today, and we are going to talk about money, and money is a very large, complex subject that conjures up all kinds of emotions, and everyone's mind is already raced to what we're going to talk about, usually probably thinking we're going to do investments. But today, there are foundational aspects of money that a lot of us never learn or we don't really think about that really impact our money. And so today, we're going to talk about 6 areas that are a foundation of money. It's knowledge, it's choices, it's mindset, it's environment, it's support, and investing in your financial foundation. So knowledge, money does take a lot of knowledge. There's specialized knowledge, technical knowledge, which I have, but there's also knowledge that we all have. And one of the things that we all know about money is we all want more.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
Never enough.
And
never enough.
people think that having more money is the solution to their problems.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But here is what's interesting. More money is not necessarily the solution to the problem.
Right.
That's exactly right.
That's
Yeah.
exactly true.
Exactly
That sometimes
right.
actually creates more problems.
Yes.
Especially if you don't know
Yes.
what to do with it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Especially. Yeah.
Yes.
And most people have that problem.
Yes, money is a tool and a resource.
Right.
Your problems are really a function of being a human being.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with being a human being, and you can't plaster over that with money. People try, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's also about choices. We've got choices about money. We use money. There's creating money. And those are really our 2 choices. We're either using money or we're creating money. But the
We're
thing,
stealing.
Yeah.
We won't go there. We won't go
That's
there.
for
Yeah.
another show.
We're
Another
not
show.
talking
That's
about
for another
anything
show.
illegal today.
Yeah.
But
That's the
people have a
reality.
tendency to think that money exists in, there's like a supply of money, and it's like, well, you got more than I did, I want more, so that's where the stealing comes in. You want more, but money actually is a creation. Money gets created, and money is a tool and a resource. So love and health are foundation pieces in life to have a great life.
Right.
You've got really amazing tools. I will always say the 3 greatest tools and resources you have for living a great life are action verbs. Love is not a feeling. It is an action you take. It's a verb. You create love, and then you get to create the feeling of love from that. There's also money. Money gets created. Money is generated. You can generate money. You generate love, you can generate money. The third piece you don't really generate, but you generate yourself inside of it, is time. time is infinite. We act like we're short of time. We're always saying, well, I'm out of time. I ran out of time. I can't do it. I don't have enough time. But time is infinite. So the three greatest resources you have are time, the love you generate, and the money you generate. And no one teaches you these things. You're learning them today. Thank goodness, finally. Did you know that people spend more money on automobiles in their lifetime than they ever save for retirement?
That's
Oh my God,
crazy.
you're probably right.
That is crazy.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because it's a
Yeah.
status symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a
The
status
20th
symbol.
century, the economy was driven by the automobile industry and the housing industry.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when you think
Wow.
about 2008, when all that government bailout, what two industries did it go to?
Yeah,
It went to
housing.
the auto industry and it went to the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those two
Interesting.
industries drive us around money. So, mindset. Jens, you are the mindset master. Everything starts with mindset. Everything with your money starts with mindset.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you know,
Yeah.
one of the things that we were talking about before we started was where did we get our money mindsets from? You know, and obviously it is from the environment that you grew up in, and then the environment of the people that you choose to associate with. But number one, as we all know, either you think you can or you think you can't, and either way, you're correct.
Yeah.
I love that quote. It's one of my most favorite
Yeah.
quotes because it's the basis for all of our results. You either think you can or you think you can't. That's why I love how you talk about you do have the ability to generate money, and you just have to have the right knowledge. But
Yeah.
one of the things we were discussing, and I said, listen, I'm going to be really authentic because I think that's the only way to be. One of the things that I say to my clients, and I know you do and you do as well, is I don't care where you are right now. I just want to know where you want to go and how can I help you get there the fastest.
Yes.
Because I'm all about speed. Yes. I don't want to waste time, right? But I grew up in a household where my dad took care of all of the finances. You know, my dad's going to be 91 in September, and he's still living, and he still takes care of the finances. And vividly, I can recall when I was growing up, my dad would say, you're not going to want for anything. So if there's anything you want or there's anything you need, you just let us know. And my dad made it happen. I mean, that's just how it was. So I didn't have a negative impact at all. I just thought, hey, listen, don't stress about money. You know, I grew up in a home where we just didn't stress out about money. And there are a lot of people that they live. It's the philosophy of abundance or lack of, and we didn't have a lack feeling. It was always abundance. And my mom worked, but so my dad paid all the bills. He did everything financially. He made sure everything continued to go, did the investments, made sure, not only did he have life insurance and my mom had life insurance, but there were 6 kids and my dad made sure all 6 of the kids had a life insurance policy, God forbid, if something were to happen to us. You don't find that. So then when I left the home, and then I ended up getting married after college. My spouse did that. And so it's just now at this point in my life, probably about 10 years ago, that I just said, listen, I started doing real well in business, and I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and then I got into the world of entrepreneurship, and I just made all the money, and I still didn't manage it. And so that was one thing for my daughter. I said, you need to learn about money. And I'll tell you who you need to go to. I said, Mary McMahon. And that's why I've decided to lock arms with you as well, because I don't ever want to be in a place where I don't really understand how money works. I can make money, but you need to know more than just making money.
That's right. That's right. Dr. Lee, what about you? How did you come to your mindset about money? Because I know you're very savvy with money.
Oh, I don't know. If I think of all the mistakes I made, all the money I lost, no, I wouldn't say that. But I mean, I think part of the ups and downs you go through as part of your personality in terms of risk taking and all those kind of things. So, but that's probably a topic for some other topic, some other time. In terms of for the foundational stuff, we talked a little bit about how you accumulate knowledge. And, what is your attitude about money? What is money? I mean, for some people, money is life and death. For most of us, I guess in some ways it is. And another way is just a way of life. Another way is just a part of extension of who you are in terms of if you have a lot of it, part of showing off. If you have a lot of it, you use it differently, and it's just a different way of how you actually, take care of the different parts of your life, and maybe if you're philanthropic, how you actually use money. And that's the real thing, is the idea of how you use money. And people don't really necessarily think about how you would use money, because that means money is an instrument, it's a tool. Right. It's something that you use to go from A to B or C. Right. And it really completely changes your mindset about how you would accumulate it, and once you have it, what you would do with it. Okay, so you can sit there and, I grew up in a poor family, and came from Korea and all that. I mean, I suppose, we weren't poor, very poor in terms of standards, but we really didn't have certainly all the kind of stuff that, you would take for granted in the United States. And I came here when I was a little kid. And growing up, in terms of lacking or whatever, I mean, we adjusted to whatever we had. I mean, I never felt like I was lacking anything, but thinking back, yeah, I lacked a lot compared to, what it was. Did I feel that way growing up? No, my parents did, very well in terms of keeping us safe and taking care of us growing up. So, but anyway, but we never learned what that meant, how they managed, my mom didn't work, and my father, was a professor, and, that's how he made his living, and how they managed the finances to keep us going and doing whatever we did. That was never really taught. And, and growing up, I never, nobody teaches you about money in school. It's not a topic that you learn. Mm-hmm. So I learned on my own. I think I read a lot of different stories about, how women went through difficulties after their husbands died, because in a traditional family, like you said, the husbands took care of all the finances. I mean, everything was done, the checking account, everything. It was under their name, often sometimes just their own name. So when they died, the wife had absolutely no access to any of their bank accounts, nor did she even know what they had. How many bank accounts, checking accounts, debts, life insurance, who has it, how do you even get it? And the wife traditionally had absolutely no clue. And I thought, this is not something that I want for my partner. So I made sure when I got married, it's like, no, that's not going to happen. You're going to have a very serious role in the finances of, the household. And I made absolutely sure of that. And, I'm married to a Chinese woman. They're born with that. So genetically, they're born with the gift of having the money. So I actually didn't have to worry about it. But that was a mindset anyway, because otherwise there would have been a big conflict in terms of how you actually do those kind of things. But I think I just had that, mindset of, I want to make sure that I'm not the only one with a knowledge of family finances, because it's so important to have both of our names on all the properties and all the bank accounts and whatnot. We both know what the insurances are and how the money is coming in, how we actually manage it. Except for tiny little trivial things, all the decisions were pretty much made together. And that's just how I developed my own sense of how I would handle that part of it. And there was actually a book that I read about couples and money, how important money is to a couple's relationship. Mm-hmm. It's not something that young people getting married think about. You think about the romance and kids and house and all the other wonderful things, but you never really think about the actual mechanism of running your life, of which money is a huge part. Obviously, love and passion, but without the money to actually make things happen, very difficult to move forward in your life, so the jobs and, the decisions you make and the conflict, that's what people fight about. I think we kind of talked about this last time. What do people fight about? Well, love and money. Yeah. You fall in love, fall out of love, you make money, you lose money. People fight about those two things most of the time. Right. So that money has a huge impact on the quality of your relationship. We're talking about love and health. Yeah. It has a huge impact on, obviously, your love, and it has an impact on the health of your relationship, and also, personal, physical health and emotional health, because the stress that causes. So it touches on so many layers of what we go through in life. And we talked about mindset, and I want to touch a little bit on the idea of knowledge that you brought up earlier. I read this incredible book on money when I was young, called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And we talked about this before the show started. When I got married, my wife had a very different idea and philosophy about money. She grew up in China, and your typical Asian philosophy about money is, you get out of debt. You don't get debt. You don't owe anybody any money. As soon as you buy something, you pay it off. You don't want any debt whatsoever. And I said, well, yeah, that's pretty good, but that's not the whole end of it. So I try to teach her a little bit about how you would actually use money to go through a different purpose. What an investment means. It's not investment. Yeah, you get into debt, but that debt is different than buying some toys. Okay, and people don't really quite understand the difference. So we had some conflict about that. And once I came across this book, I read it from cover to cover in 2 days, and I gave it to her, and she read it over. She was flying around, and she finally, once she read that, something clicked, and she said, "Now I know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Once you change that mindset from a knowledge of how money works, in which Robert Kiyosaki does a fantastic job clarifying that. Once you understand that knowledge changes your mindset.
Yes.
And then it all affects your choices. So I think really they all kind of interlinked, intertwined. So it's critical to have a good knowledge of what money is and how money works, and that's something that I think our society just doesn't do a very good job teaching.
And you know what our society doesn't teach about money? There's lots around that. I mean, we spend years in school learning so many things in college, but we don't really learn about how money works. And we go through life making mistakes, hopefully learning from the mistakes, but that's a long experience process. Why not do what Jen suggests and speed it up? Let's get there as fast as we can.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yes.
And that is, to me, one of the most important lessons that you just said right there. And that is, you don't have to know everything. Just find the right people that you trust. And what I say is you hitch your wagon to them, and then you just go around the track with them. And you do whatever they tell you to do, because why would you spend all of that time, energy, and effort of making all the mistakes when you can just go to someone like you who has spent decades learning the best of the best? I mean, this is what you do. So I can keep doing what is my zone of genius. You can keep doing as well. Obviously, you need that basic knowledge, but you're so fundamentally correct when you say, go find the right people. You need a life team, folks. You need a life team.
You do.
Yes,
Definitely.
You do.
Yeah.
Your success formula, success happens in action. Success happens through others. Clarity plus focus plus the right actions plus the right people plus accountability. That is the success formula, and you need that for your money too. I spend 40, 60 hours a week doing the work. People can't do that when they've got work and families and fun time, and it's just not possible. So you're absolutely right. You need to find a good person on the success side for money. So we're not trained with money, and I'm not sure our school system in its current state would be a very good place.
No, I don't think so.
So, I think
Unfortunately.
we would learn a lot of lessons that would not be so great.
Unfortunately, they got something else they're trying to teach. Yeah.
But that was one thing too I've got 3 biological kids, 2 bonus kids, and I literally will sometimes stay up at night because I've got a couple that really get it and obviously are connected with the right people, and then I've got a couple of them that they won't listen to anything I say. I say, listen, if they would just do what I would tell them to do, every one of them would have an amazing, great life. But they don't do that.
Jeez, imagine that. I think your parents are the same thing about you, as they said about me. I'm sure.
Because they haven't learned it, Mary. They haven't learned it.
Yeah, and what's really hard is to impart even an attitude for them to be curious. Because you kind of have to wonder if everything's provided for you and to you. You can sit back and say, well, this is great. If I want this, I just ask and magically it appears. So why should I worry about where this comes from?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't have that, that experience of desiring something and trying to figure out, okay, I want this or whatever. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a bicycle, it could be a car, it could be a TV or whatever. how am I going to go from here to there to get it? And if nobody teaches you that, this one just kind of gives it to you. I want a TV. Okay, here it is. Next week, go out and find a TV. Or I want an iPad. Okay, here's an iPad.
Yeah.
They have no clue about how this magically appears. I remember growing up. I'm not trying to set myself as an example, but I taking piano lessons. My parents didn't pay for my piano lessons. I mowed lawns. I shoveled snow. I literally went and cleaned people's houses too. I did all kinds of stuff to make whatever little few dollars that I could to pay for my piano lessons. In the beginning, they pay for in the beginning just to get me started. But when I was in junior high school and high school, I did it. That was like, this is something I wanted, and I found a way to make the money to pay for my piano lessons. And then I realized, okay, this is kind of what it takes.
Yeah.
This is the payment you make in order to get something that you desire, and then without necessarily having the true understanding of what that meant, that's kind of what I was doing. And I know there are thousands of people out there doing that already. I didn't do anything special, but a lot of people don't have that. They're fortunate in their environment to have things that are kind of gotten for them. They're very fortunate. But at the same time, they're missing out on, certain knowledge and an attitude that can affect them, for a long time in their life.
And that part of knowledge about money and how money works is so important. You have to know how to use it. And you have to know how to create it. There are some people who are so brilliant at creating money, and they're terrible at managing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
How to
They
manage
don't
it.
know.
And a lot of people who have a lot of money flowing in, when money flowing in is not a problem, people who are good at making money don't realize all the money problems they have. It's always a crisis point. Who wants to go through life and get to a crisis point with money?
Right, nobody.
Yes, and so money is really driven by emotion. It's not even driven by knowledge or logic. It's driven by emotion. There's the fear of losing money, and there's the wanting more of money. And so we are constantly in this push and pull of afraid of losing money and wanting more money. And money is the greatest source of anxiety in our society.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
It ruins relationships and marriages and families. It's, we've all experienced families being torn apart over money.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And
Happens all the time.
and we need to understand how money works.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have an easy solution other than hitching your wagon to the right people. I am a right person to
That's
hitch
right.
to.
Yes.
Of course you are.
But I must say I work a little bit differently than how the industry typically works. And I am very educated in my field, and I will tell you, I've read all the books out there for all the people who write books for advice that people go to. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. This book, if you haven't learned about how money works, this book will teach you how money works. I recommend everyone read this book as part of your education piece. Yeah, the knowledge piece. Money is also about power and control.
Yes.
Yes.
Very much.
And men have been deemed with the power and control, but women have always been economic beings, have always contributed economically to society and to the family. But as Jen's just described, and then what you described, your experience, and I have my experience, men controlling money controls women. There's lots of control factors around women in society. So culturally, we're not even trained to even talk about the subject. And yes, going into marriages, we're not prepared to go into a marriage and have that kind of economic partnership with our partners. So there's a lot of work to be done there.
Right, that's what I was going to say, even about
Yeah.
what you were sharing, Dr. Lee, about your philosophy, because it's rare. A lot of men don't share that philosophy, and it's a constant struggle and resistance in many marriages, because the men want the control, because they want that power
Right.
instead of coming in as equal partners. And, the day that we live in right now, I mean, listen, women are not.
They're not sitting down
They're
doing
not
nothing.
sitting
No,
down
they're
anymore.
not.
So
Of course
it's
not.
it's hopefully we're doing a better job raising our sons with that knowledge and information. But now, again, I'm just going to throw this out there because I do have, I do have both girls and boys that are young adults in their 20s. And it's interesting because women in their 20s and 30s, they're the ones that are hustling and bustling, and a lot are even more, they're making more money and they're having more success. So obviously those roles are switching, but you've got all kinds. And the main point, I think, is really, you do such a beautiful job with this, Mary, is explaining that you win more when you utilize both parties' strengths.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's just the way it is.
Yes.
You're going to go faster, further together than you ever would with just one head.
One head, yeah.
Yes, yes. And women are extremely talented with money, extremely, and men are talented with money too. Everyone has a different level of affinity with money. Own your level of affinity with money. Some people don't like numbers, but money is a lot more than numbers. Numbers do come into play.
Right.
Bring a numbers person onto your team. Some people, religion has actually taught us to not, for us to not even talk about money. So there's a lot of taboo around that. But it's super, super important to both parties to take on. Both men and women are talented, and every human being has talents and affinity for something. Whatever your level of affinity is, go after it. If you're really interested in it, go after it. Work with someone who honors that. I've got clients who are great. They're always giving me ideas, and I'm always going through them, and we talk about them. And then there are clients who don't want to do the numbers.
Right.
So, that's fine. Just find your level of affinity, start getting educated. This is a great place to start with that. And start supporting and loving yourself and creating a great foundation. You're going to have more love in your life. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be happier. Life is about living a life that you love.
That's right.
It totally
Do
is.
not let money get in the way.
Right. But it's
do not let money get in the way.
so true, because if you don't take it by your hand, I always say you can live a life by chance or you can live a life by choice.
Yeah.
And you've got that power.
Yes.
We all have that power within us, and people have got to understand that. So yes, don't go do this stuff by yourself. If you don't know what you're doing, contact Mary McMahon. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Well, everyone needs a financial professional to work with in the areas that they need help with, because unless you're trained in it, unless you're working in it all the time, you couldn't possibly know. It's what you don't know.
That's exactly right.
know.
Yeah, all the different varieties.
That gets
Right.
you into trouble. Some people have a lot of I don't know. Some people have some I don't knows. But it's always the I don't know.
Yeah,
Some,
exactly.
some
It's
people
always
don't.
true.
Some people
Yeah.
don't realize that they don't know what they don't know
Right.
because they don't
Yes.
know it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And
So yes, you do need support. You need to have that success team. You need that support. You need to have a mindset. If you don't have a good mindset around money, you need to work with Jens Johnson and create that mindset. Because that's how you create a successful, happy life full of love and money and good health. And that's why we're here.
that's right.
Right.
Exactly. That's
and,
exactly
and
right.
I'm just going to lob on to, it's so important that when you are creating your life team, that you have professionals that really do have that comprehensive approach to a person.
Yeah.
It is one of the reasons why I hitched my wagon immediately to Dr. Lee and to you, because you both speak of the comprehensive approach to life, to money, to health, to wellness, to mindset. And not very many people do that. People are very pigeonholed, but that's not that's not reality. It's
Yes.
not how we go through this world.
And money doesn't work in pigeonhole ways. Money works in a
It's completely
comprehensive
pervasive.
way.
It's pervasive,
And
yeah.
yes, and so you have to have all those pigeonholes taken care of.
That's right.
Exactly.
And that's my job.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
I
yeah.
take care of
And
pigeonholes.
Dr. Lee takes care of different
Other
pigeonholes.
different pigeonholes.
Different
yes.
pigeonholes,
Yes,
yes.
exactly.
And so our request to you is to invest in your financial foundation and your financial future, because it is a foundation piece. There are people out in the world like us who are here to help you. So reach out to us if you've got questions, if you'd like to talk about it more. There's a lot to talk about money. I'll be talking about a lot of money subjects as we continue on with more episodes of Love and Health in America.
Yes,
right.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
And I just want to make a note. Every year, I think it's so interesting. I look to see what people make for their financial resolutions. It's all over the shows, the ticker tape shows, the entertainment shows.
Right.
It's always the same ones every year. People want to save more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. People want to pay off debt. They know they've got too much consumer credit debt, too much debt that doesn't create assets. I tell my clients, if you're busy earning money in the future to pay for debt in the past, debt that didn't create any asset value, how can you create a financial future? And that's a number 2. Number 3, people want to save more for retirement. Dr. Lee, you shared with us that we're going to have a capacity to live easily to age 120,
Oh, yeah,
125.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of scary when you
Yeah.
think about it. It's for me as a physician, it's like, wow, what a fantastic thing. At the same time, wow, what if I run out of money?
Right.
Because you're talking about people are geared to retiring at 65. Like my wife, she talks about retiring at 65. It's like, are you crazy?
Right.
I mean, my brain will be dead in 2 months if I retire. So I'm not going to retire. I don't plan to. I mean, retirement for me is literally turning off your brain. And that's my attitude towards retirement. That's
Yeah.
my mindset.
Well, no, I
For
agree.
her, it's like,
I
I worked my
agree.
whole life. I'm tired. I want to enjoy life. So it's a very different, way. And I'm sure we'll find a happy medium somewhere. But
So the
for
key-
me, because she's very healthy, it's like, you're so young. You're not going to retire at 65 because you have another 60 years to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
a lot of people realize when they are healthy and they're vital, they realize, hey, you know what? I just cut off my arm and my leg over here
Yeah.
by not working, because there's grace and dignity with working. There is social engagement. There is ownership of your life. Money does give you ownership of living your life in a way that's pleasing to you. That's super important. You get to decide it. You can create it. We can help you. And so that whole notion of retiring at age 65 is actually a made-up notion. In a future show, we'll talk about it. It's a really interesting historical basis, and people are finding out that it really doesn't work.
I know. I remember when you
Yeah.
told us that story, so I can't wait until we have that topic to cover it.
Yeah.
And I'll say one last thing. I worked with a growth and development coach for years, and he was somebody that worked with all the Fortune 500 executives. And he said on the topic of retirement, he said, retirement is planning your death. And he said, you can never, ever stop working. Now, you can retire from corporate America, or you can retire from one job, but that's our life is working. And to find that passion and that purpose in our work, to be able to not just live but give back. And that's something that we haven't been able to talk about, but just the ability to use money to give back and to create legacy in a different way. So many people that have had tremendous financial success, they always talk about the importance of giving back.
right.
Yes, and so we want everyone to be as successful as you want to be. Everyone has a different definition, and we want you to live your definition of your success. It takes love, it takes health, it takes money, and you can create it. It can be generated. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. So I just want to say that investments is that fourth piece that people are really interested in and want to always know more about. And there is nothing wrong with working. if you are working in your passion, which is mindset, which is why everyone needs to work with you, Jens, is to create what is your passion. You can make money at what you are passionate about. And that's why I had the conversation with you, Dr. Lee.
Sure.
I am a firm believer that the talents and the unique capabilities we have shows up by age 7. And it's a matter of like, how do you direct that? Some of it takes a little bit more effort to do that. But we were all born to be amazing, successful human beings. And you can be that, and we are here to help.
I know, I love
Yeah.
it. Well,
right.
wonderful conversation
Yeah.
today. I've loved it, and I hope everybody has gotten something special from it. And until we meet again next time, Mary,
Live richly.
love deeply.
And stay healthy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being with us for this episode of Love and Health in America. Dr. Doohi Lee, Mary McMahon, and Jens Johnson are committed to help you achieve a life full of love, health, and abundance. Please join us in our next episode as we share another facet for you to optimize love and health in your life. Until next time, love deeply, live richly, and stay healthy.